Hello, everybody. I'm Paul.
And I'm Andrew.
And welcome back to the Fan Voice. We are in episode number 9, and things are looking amazing now. Should we tell the fans the good news?
Sure.
All right. Okay, sure. So, with all of our efforts between our website and our videos, we have gotten our first $1.
Woo! Super excited about that.
Seriously.
It's a whole $1.
Yeah. We should, frame it like Mr. Krabs or something.
You should get it directly from Google.
Google, I need this first $1 by itself.
Can you please just give me the $1?
This is a momentous event here. So yeah, happiness all around. And
it's all thanks to you guys, so thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, seriously, thank you for
shouting it out.
All your support. Shout-outs to everybody. Awesome. But shall we begin our weekly shout-outs?
Yes.
Okay, so first shout-outs will go to Connor Tridy and Dwayne Burns for sharing our last podcast, which was totally awesome. We really appreciate that, as always. And if you guys haven't gotten a chance to check out our last episode, Connor Tridy actually guest starred with us, which was super fun.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. So,
and speaking of Connor,
the
very first comment on our last podcast posted on Facebook was #Mako2014. And I have to agree. I think we should get this trending. This is important.
Yeah. We'll get one of those Obama posters with Mako's face.
There we go.
You know.
Oh my god, now I really want to make that.
Dude, I bet they have a web application
with Mako
for
2014.
Where you could put anyone's face on.
Yeah, it's totally a meme. I bet you can. All right, I'm going to look at this.
Let's do it.
I'm going to look at this, because that would be hilarious.
We just got to get it going. I like it. And then shout out to Tommy Wasak, who commented also on our last podcast that we all had really different opinions about Kill la Kill. And Tommy says, I'm on the fence. It could have been great, but the execution was flawed. I'll have to agree.
Yeah, I think we both kind of agree on that.
Yeah,
I totally agree. Especially the "it could have been great" part, because I felt like it had a lot of potential. But we talked about we talked about that at length last week, and I feel like a lot of people are kind of in that
mid-range
kind of area.
Yeah.
In fact, Dwayne Burns, who shared the podcast last week, also gave me a little bit of feedback and kind of what he thought about the show. And he's in the same boat.
Yeah.
He's on the fence about it. But he did have some really good things to say. So he said, I really love the theory on Glowing Nipples Man being a commentary on anime in general. He said that would make some sense. So he liked the theory I brought up kind of about Glowing Nipples Man. I wish I could remember his name. It's gonna bug me.
No one can remember it because his glowing
nipples
were in the way.
It's distracting, and that was exactly my point. Is that it was distracting? I thought on purpose. So yeah, I mean, he liked that theory, and then he talked a little bit about the Ragyo kind of bath scene. Me and Connor were kind of talking back and forth about what we thought about the scene, and Dwayne seems to agree more with me. He says, if you're going to use that scene for a point, try to make it more clear and talk more about it. And I would agree, Dwayne, because I felt like the scene was, like I said in the podcast, kind of shock value.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that it's meant to make her more evil, but it felt like that was a step too far just to say that.
Yeah.
Basically.
Like, I can handle very little sexual stuff, sexual themes in anime as it is, and that was just she was nuts, along with the bath scene and then the naked spanking.
Of course, yeah.
I was like, I can't handle this. I'm sorry, Connor.
Yeah, it's yeah.
But
I mean, I understand why he likes the scene because it is very extreme.
Yeah,
and it's very over the top, which is the whole
show.
Mm-hmm. But for me, I was just like, I want you to talk more about it. I want you to have a little bit more commentary on what that means for the two characters, and they kind of didn't. So and then he also says it does have good dialogue, so he agrees with us on that. because I think that the show has really good dialogue.
Yeah, they're good dialogue.
There's some really good
definitely.
lines and some the character writing is good. Like the character dialogue writing is really good. And then we kind of got into a little bit of a discussion on Satsuki, who I mentioned kind of went a little, like, I said soft. And he says, I need to rewatch it to be sure, obviously, but I don't think she got unreasonably soft. I remember one moment involving her and the Elite Four that was a little sappy, and that one, I believe, is where they step in front of her.
Okay.
When Ryoko is about to punch her. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Where they step in front of her, and he says, I think that was a strong bond that had always been well established, just hidden under the sternness, so that didn't bother me too much. And he says that was the only, intense moment of her getting too soft too fast that he can remember. So it didn't really bother him as much. And
I mean, the bonds with the soldiers could definitely be understood as it, like, flashed back to, like, almost, all of them, like, meeting her for the first time kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, for me, it was just a little bit, she kind of relinquishes command to Glowing Nipples Man. Not going to remember his name. I'm just not even going to try at this point. And she kind of relinquishes command to him, and then she's saying a lot about, I've asked a lot of everybody over the last couple of months, and this whole thing, and I felt like she was kind of getting soft. I guess that's the best word I can come up with. I know it's not ideal, obviously.
Yeah.
But that's just, I kind of felt that she was just kind of getting soft there. And
after knowing her is, like,
as stern and
the
resolved,
biggest hardcore
and she never gave up
ever.
Like, and that part of her personality absolutely stays. So I mean, that doesn't really change, but she kind of just changes, I felt like, abruptly, which maybe was my whole problem with the whole show, which is why maybe I thought that way in the first place, is I felt like the whole show changes very quickly. Right, anyway, so that was kind of an interesting conversation we kind of had back and forth, and thank you for that, Dwayne.
Awesome. Huge shout out to you. Great commentary. Thank you so much.
And then I guess we will move on to news.
All right, cool.
Some big news.
Yeah.
You want to go
Lots
ahead and
of cool
start
stuff. Okay, so I guess the first thing we're going to be mentioning is the new images released for Hyrule Warriors. What is it? The Dynasty Warriors Zelda?
Yeah,
crossover.
It's basically Dynasty Warriors, although I don't know if it is technically a crossover or just a ripoff.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure yet. Because I actually don't know who develops Dynasty Warriors. I don't know if it is Team Ninja.
Yeah, but Team Ninja is definitely on board with this one.
Yeah.
And it definitely shows. I feel like Zelda fans will be at such a crossroad with this game because...
Oh, yeah.
In my opinion, this is Team Ninja in a nutshell. They'll give you super awesome, fun, real-time action gameplay, but then crap on everything a franchise stood for.
Oh, man, that's a really good way to put it. Yeah, kinda.
I mean, you look at DMC Devil May Cry as well as Metroid, the other M. It's like they're saying, dude, we're just way too much fun. We can do whatever the heck we want to use.
Yeah, because really, Other M is okay gameplay-wise, but the story and what they do with her character is awful.
Yeah. Basically destroying Zelda as one of the few strong female characters in video games.
Oh, you mean Samus?
Samus.
Yeah.
What did I say?
You said Zelda. Which they may very well do in this next one. No. I mean, she's
Zelda.
Zelda is not exactly a strong character. Usually.
Sheik is awesome.
Sheik is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
No. But I just hope. I think that
I will I will vouch for DMC though. Because gameplay-wise, I thought that one was way funner than the other ones, personally. But I'm very new to that franchise, and I have some friends who are, like Brian Atticus and so many others, too, who are hugely invested of the roots of where this game came from. And they're like, they totally destroyed these characters and everything kind of thing.
Yeah,
like I went back and looked. I was like, I understand with Virgil. Virgil was a lot cooler in the older ones. I'm kind of meh about Dante. Honestly, I'm not sure if
Yeah.
I'm kind of okay with the new one because the old Dante was really really over the top in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I mean, there's no. Yeah, I do
I
understand
may
what
get flamed
DMC.
for that, but
There are a lot of DMC fans who maintain that the new game just changed everything for no reason, and I can totally see that. But I do know what you mean. The gameplay wise, it's very good. Also, I think that Nintendo. I mean, it's Nintendo and it's Legend of Zelda, so I don't think they're gonna give it to Team Ninja.
yeah,
Just-
they did say
I mean-
that producers are keeping a close eye
Yeah,
on it,
and
kind of thing.
I'm guessing that Nintendo's gonna do the story and Team Ninja's gonna be handling the gameplay.
Yeah,
Which would make sense to me. I mean, I just can't see them handing this to Team Ninja and being like, do a story that's outside of. Because when has a Legend of Zelda game come out that he's not rescuing Zelda? I mean, in this one, it says the story will cast Link as a soldier in training that must rescue Princess Zelda from the witch shot.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think it's going to change that much because
No.
it's Nintendo and Legend of Zelda. So.
But gameplay wise, it definitely looks really
Oh no!
different.
Yeah,
they have
gameplay wise, they will.
They have that
change.
awesome real time action
Mhm.
that Team Ninja is known for, and it looks like a good chunk of the story will be Link in training
Yeah,
and a regular soldier kind of
which
thing.
could be really interesting.
Yeah.
for sure.
Definitely. And also another cool thing that that's revealed is that there will actually be a two-player mode where one person will utilize the Wii U gamepad on another screen.
That's really interesting. I wonder how they're gonna.
I mean, my original thought was that it would be a really crappy co-op like Mario Galaxy where someone's just a little star thing. But there's
That's really unfortunate, yeah.
there's actually another character designated for the second player,
Oh, okay.
like a warrior person.
Okay.
Yeah, so
All right. Well, then
It-
that would be really interesting. Then.
yeah, it is
Um.
definitely.
Well, yeah, I'm excited to see how this game turns out. I don't have a Wii U yet,
No,
but I might be getting one. I might
feel
not.
it's
We'll see what
freaking
happens.
inevitable at this point, especially
Yeah.
after they announced that they're working on a GameCube controller
Yeah.
for the Wii U.
So that's another piece of news.
That
GameCube
was
controllers being
yeah.
re-released basically through PDP,
Mhm.
who is a large third-party hardware developer.
Yeah,
Or manufacturer. And that's really exciting because we're gonna have GameCube controllers for the Wii U.
for Smash.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a really good point for Smash. Yeah, that's a really good point.
But it's so worth it.
It's so worth it, 100%. All right, so the next piece of news we have is Batman v Superman:
The official title was announced.
Dawn of Justice. So, first of all, v Superman. Now, this is what's interesting to me. It's not versus, right? Because I've seen the title everywhere. It's Batman, the letter V, Superman, Dawn of Justice.
Do you think that holds significance?
I think it does. If it's not versus, I don't know what it could possibly mean. But they seem to be going to great lengths to not call it versus in press.
Uh-huh.
Have you noticed that? They're never like,
Kinda,
it's
yeah.
Batman versus Superman. They're like, it's Batman v Superman.
Because, I mean, they're probably going to end up teaming up.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, they have
obviously,
to,
but-
right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. So, I feel like it's a little weird, and I don't know what to think about it. Also, Dawn of Justice. I mean,
We're,
these names, man.
they're
Age of Ultron,
yeah.
Dawn of Justice.
I mean, obviously, that part is to haul in, like, the
Of course, yeah.
inevitable Justice League coming up. And I guess through this year, they've been announcing, like, what is it? I guess Wonder Woman is going to be in it.
Yep.
And Cyborg as well.
Yeah, so that's kind of interesting. I feel like that's an interesting character choice to bring in.
Yeah.
But I can totally see it. He's a little more modern in this day and age. You know, a
And-
cyborg
and
is a little...
Since the Teen Titans, I feel like since the Cartoon Network show came out, all of those characters have been exploding, particularly Cyborg and Raven.
Yeah. They've been in a lot more things. And I mean, Teen Titans saw a revival, obviously, comic book wise. So, I mean, so on the whole, I'm excited, but I'm not trusting that this is going to be amazing. Because here's my problem. Man of Steel I thought it was good. Definitely better than, like, Return of Superman, which I did not like. But my problem with Man of Steel is that it was very out of the ordinary. Or not my problem. The good thing about Man of Steel is that it was like, he's an alien. It's like more sci-fi. And I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I don't like how they tried to make scientific sense of his powers.
Oh.
But I was kind of like, whatever on that. But I thought it was kind of a cool concept. Well, now that they're introducing all these other superheroes, they can't do that. So this is supposed to be a Man of Steel sequel. It's not anymore.
Nope.
Because how can you introduce Wonder Woman and be like, wait, we have to stop and explain this scientifically?
No.
If Wonder Woman,
it's
Cyborg...
way too much to digest.
Yeah, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, Batman are all going to be in this movie, you can't talk about origins of any of them.
No.
They just have to be there.
Pretty much.
Which means that Man of Steel's whole thing about, Batman can fly on this planet because of radiation and what planet he's from is gone.
Right.
And it's more about, look at all these awesome characters we have.
Yeah.
It's more Marvel.
Yeah, obviously they're just trying to keep up with the race in Marvel.
Exactly.
And I don't know if that's the best move for them.
I don't think it is. I think if you're going to have another Superman movie, keep in line with Man of Steel.
Right.
Talk a little bit more about that and keep that consistent. I feel like you're going to get completely inconsistent here. Now, maybe Wonder Woman is just like a vigilante. Maybe she's not like half goddess or whatever she is in the comics.
Oh, people would have a field day with that.
People would go nuts.
Yeah.
She was just a normal person like Batman, they'd hate it.
Uh-huh.
So, I just don't see them doing that, and that's... Like, you're not going to... Like I said, you're not going to sit down and explain Wonder Woman. You're just not going to do that in this movie. So that's my problem.
It'll be hard. Like, there will probably be, like, a quick excerpt.
Yeah.
Somewhere where someone suddenly just knows everything. It's like, here, Superman, let me explain this woman to you.
Yeah. Quick, we're going to put in this scene for exposition. Okay,
yeah.
We're good. Now go back to kicking each other's asses, please.
Now, is Christopher Nolan handling this one?
I don't think he's directing it or writing it. I'm pretty sure he's a producer.
Okay.
Because
like
that, but
the more and more as the Justice League formulates, I don't think Christopher Nolan's style will fit.
Neither do I.
He was absolutely perfect for Batman, but Batman is so much darker than like any superhero ever in my opinion.
I mean Batman's really dark, and he's a little bit more like realistic, so you could go that route. Now I still don't think that the Batman movies are realistic. You still have to suspend disbelief. It's still a ridiculous premise.
The Dark Knight, I feel like, reached the closest to the realism. I feel like.
Okay, maybe, although by the end the Joker has gone off the rails. But at that point you're already invested, so it doesn't matter.
That's true.
So, I mean, for me, I was just like, well, it's still ridiculous, and it's still unbelievable, but it's more believable than other Superman movies.
I think what really helps. Superhero movies. I think what really helps is that Christopher Nolan tosses aside the normal flair of a superhero movie, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Like, all the Marvel movies have this certain, like, colorful, actiony aspect to it that never really seems to rest.
Okay, so yes, I would agree, but I don't think that has anything to do with it being believable, if you want to know the truth.
Okay.
I feel like it honestly sometimes brings more attention to the fact that something's unbelievable. Because you're going along and you're in this dark city, and then suddenly he's flying through the streets. And it's actually a bigger contrast, in my opinion, than when you have something like Marvel, because you're not worried about that.
No, you don't even have it in your mind.
You don't have it in your mind. But in Batman, you have it in your mind all the time. And so that when the Joker has two fairies miraculously hooked up, because he's just awesome and rules the city all of a sudden.
That's true.
With bombs, it's like, okay, really? But like I said, at that point, you're invested.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's just, I guess kind of the emotional part of it, like when Batman's just punching him over and over in the face in the jail room kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's like totally like, oh, that could happen.
Yeah, no, yeah. And that's a very good point. It's definitely an emotional. It's an emotionally believable, and I think I'll definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
You know, so are a lot of Marvel movies, obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I definitely get it.
It's a little bit of both.
Yeah, I mean, I think to a certain extent, I still think that they're ridiculous and over the top movies, the Batman movies. But
when it gets to the crime parts, if it's not over the top, it's just not interesting. I feel like.
Yeah, maybe that's actually a pretty good point. Anyway, we kind of got off topic there, yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I feel like Nolan is gonna. I hope he comes in to this movie and tries to at least work with everybody a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I honestly, if he didn't have control, I'm okay with it. But the people they have to do these movies, it's not the best team right now.
Yeah.
So I'm a little worried. Like, Christopher Nolan made 3 good movies.
Right.
So, I mean, he's kind of already got a track record, like 3 good superhero movies. I mean,
yeah.
Like, the 3 Batman movies were good.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So, like,
yeah.
He has a good track record.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, cool. Like, keep doing it. But now we have other people in the mix. I'm worried. I'm worried about the new movie.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going to have to wait to see trailers and more about it. But it's just not looking interesting so far.
We're not secure in our thoughts about this. But you know what? We'll just have to see.
Yeah,
you know,
it all comes down to you just have to wait and see. All right, so the next piece of news, really quickly here, the Super Smash Bros. Invitational. They're having a contest where you can put up a 15-second video, right? And you say why. Say your name.
Why you should be fighting the challengers kind of thing.
Yeah, like why you should be fighting the people who win the Super Smash Bros. Tournament at E3, basically.
Yeah.
And, okay, I get it to a certain extent, but I guarantee you the people that are going to be winning this...
It's going to be a disaster.
It's going to be just random people.
Exactly.
And it would be much better if it was this top 16... Here's what I would like. The top 16 are actually the top 16 Smash players in the world right now.
Right.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be a lot of other people, too, thrown in there.
Yeah.
There's going to be a couple really good Smash players. I don't think they're going to be the top people. Right? So, and then we're just going to have random people win a contest and have a chance to play them on stream?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't...
Why does that matter? Why is that relevant?
Exactly.
I'm so confused.
They're just going to get their butts handed to them.
And that's the other thing, too, is it's like, even if they take, like, he killed him there. It's like, yeah, some random guy? Why does this matter? Like, go to Best Buy and play the game.
Yeah. I mean,
it's going to be all across the country in Best Buy. Why are we... I don't know.
It's just a hype sweepstakes kind of move, obviously. But, like, 15 seconds? Are you serious? And they're giving criteria like, oh, we're going to be looking deep in the story and the heart thought brought into this. And like,
no, you're not.
You're just...
What
would you do?
You're going to get people who played, Brawl when it first came out for like 2 months and then gave up on it. And they just post a really good video.
Yeah.
Why? I don't understand. Like, this is where you should be looking to your community. And not just the competitive community. The other communities that are, like, developing content for it. Or are constantly still playing Brawl on the Wi-Fi connection up until it went out.
Yeah.
Or doing stuff like that.
Right.
You should be looking to communities.
Yeah.
To this kind of stuff.
Exactly.
But what you're doing instead is you're putting out this huge thing and then it's supposed to be a hype train. It's not gonna work.
No.
So I don't agree with this move. But
I'm sure thousands of people will do it.
Yeah.
Of course,
and they're not, a lot of them are not gonna be real Smash fans. They're just gonna like, oh, I remember Smash on the N64, I'll submit a video.
Yeah.
And as long as they make a good or funny video, then they have a chance of winning. It just seems weird to me. I think it's, like you said, it's just a hype thing. So
absolutely.
Anyway, whatever. Not very excited. Okay, next piece of news quickly. Big Hero 6, which is a Marvel and Disney movie that's coming out. I'm super excited.
Guess what, guys? It's animated!
It's gonna be awesome. So
Oh
I'm
my gosh.
really excited. Marvel and Disney are finally teaming up for an animated movie. Hasn't happened yet since their acquisition in 2009. So I'm really pumped to see what they do with this. Now, Big Hero 6 is a really short-lived comic series. Not a lot came out of it, but we see in the trailer Hiro Hamada is the supposedly the star of this movie, and he's a part of the Big Hero 6. And he's just kind of this really smart little Japanese kid, basically, in the comics. Yeah. And it looks like in the movie, he's kind of a combination of Japanese and American.
Right.
So there's a little bit going on there about, like, Japanese and American. And they're kind of fusing it.
What was that?
It's San Francisco. That's where they live. Don't joke. It's San Francisco.
It's so bad.
It's so bad. It's so bad. It's good. So I'm excited to see what they do with it. I mean, it's by the guys who did Frozen and Wreck-It Ralph, so it could be amazing. I wouldn't be surprised if it was.
We're guaranteed for some heartfeltness, but that's what's so amazing about this new movie coming out is like it's going to be the greatest blending of these two.
I totally agree.
Of these two industries. It's not just like one owns the other and then the other's doing everything.
Yeah,
for it
exactly. Yeah.
This is the heart of Disney merging with the heart of Marvel to create an incredible superhero adventure.
Yeah.
With a heartwarming twist to
Yeah.
it.
And I really like the fact that they kind of dug deep. I mean, Big Hero 6 isn't exactly the most popular. Kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And I like that they're willing to do movies that are a little different and take
absolutely.
stories like that. I think that's really, really cool. So I'm excited.
It's a great move because then all of these like more casual fans will start getting curious about these like little series here and there that were always floating around, but now they're starting to get some attention they deserve.
Yeah,
you know?
It's going to be really good. So I'm excited about Big Hero 6 for sure.
Me too.
All right, last piece of news because we ran late on news. We talked a lot about Batman versus Superman, or v Superman, excuse me. So the last piece of news, really quickly: Minecraft on Xbox One and PS4 in August. So, like anybody's surprised, it's coming to next gen consoles.
Is it a new game altogether?
It's not a new game. It's just basically a port.
Okay.
There's obviously going to be different content on each of these platforms. I mean, Xbox and PS3 are not going to get the updates that the Xbox One and PS4 are.
Yeah.
Xbox One and PS4 apparently have, and I don't understand how they can make this claim. It's not better graphics, but it's better performance. And I'm like, it's Minecraft. It should run the same. You
can poke the squares faster, Andrew.
On a 360 and a PS3, you should be able to do the exact same thing in the exact same way that on the next-gen consoles.
The square pigs will move smoother.
I mean, so, I don't know, that's a whole thing, but I don't think anybody's surprised this is coming. It's so ubiquitous at this point. You can get it on every platform known to man.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be basically complete in August. Coming to PlayStation 3, Vita as well. I think in July, though. So, yeah, by the end of the summer, you can get it everywhere. It doesn't matter what you have, you can get Minecraft. And I think that's what their goal is anyway. Try to keep it in public consciousness for a little bit longer.
What about Wii?
I don't think it's not coming to Wii. Yeah, that's the only one.
Nothing comes to Wii.
Yeah, God, it's so true. Third party, man.
They're their own world.
All right. So that's all the news. That took a little bit longer than we expected, but that's okay.
Sorry, we're just so hyped about everything in this world.
We are. Yeah.
But now we're ready for our big, epic news. And you know what? I actually put a little Easter egg in one of our articles hinting to our topic this week.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
So, well, I guess now that we're on the discussion, I'll just say, so the article talking about what monsters will be in Godzilla 2, it's already been announced, which is crazy. Yeah. In the beginning, I talked about how awesome Godzilla was, and I was like, I was never so enthralled and awake in a movie I watched past 9.
Dude, that's
Best Easter egg ever.
I didn't even notice that. That's really funny.
I believe in the 9, guys.
Oh, Paul, you're so clever.
But yes, our
podcast. What, we don't have a subtitle for this one.
Subtitle?
We had Crazy 8. We need Obnoxious 9. No, that's terrible.
Nuclear 9.
Oh shit, that was really good.
Right?
Nicely done.
Because today we are freaking talking about the Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
Which
wow.
was,
I can't get over
amazing.
Nuclear 9. That was very impressive, I must say. Yeah. I totally did. I was like, oh yeah, whatever. Like maybe we won't think of anything.
When the time is right,
Nicely
we will
done.
come up with the perfect saying for each number.
So yeah, Godzilla. I was really excited about this movie when it first came out, just for the fact that it's Godzilla.
Right.
And I was really excited because it didn't have Matthew Broderick in it, and it didn't look absolutely terrible.
Yes,
like
2004?
2004? Was that when the last one came out?
Something like that.
Whatever that one was. It wasn't that. And it had Bryan Cranston in it.
That thing, that skinny lizardy thingy is gone.
Yeah.
Do you know the story about what Japan did with that?
Yeah.
That was amazing.
I think that's really funny.
In the last Godzilla movie, Godzilla Final Wars, Japan bought the rights to the American design of Godzilla, took the god out, so it was just called Zilla, and they had the real Godzilla kill it in like 2 seconds.
Which is awesome.
It's like, yes, it was a disgrace. Thank you, Japan.
So yeah, I was excited about this movie, and I guess just on the whole, just a summary, it delivered on the whole.
Yeah.
I walked out of the movie theater like, fuck yeah, that was enjoyable.
Yeah.
The action was phenomenal. The cinematography was fucking good.
It was brilliant.
If somebody doesn't get nominated in something for that, I'm actually going to be really disappointed, because there are so many moments in this movie where you just see a foot or like a snippet of a monster and it's completely silent.
I feel like I definitely agree with you that the cinematography is amazing, but it's not the award-winning type of amazing.
No, I guess I disagree. I think a lot of stuff, well, it's not going to win an Academy Award, and that's because it's Godzilla.
Yeah.
But Skyfall, the James Bond movie, should have won an Academy Award. It didn't, because it's James Bond. They didn't give it nominated. That cinematography in that movie is absolutely incredible, and you hear a lot of people, there were a lot of interviews with directors and people working in film that were like, that movie should have won. But it's never going to, because it's James Bond. I feel like it's the same thing with Godzilla. Now, I really think there's a lot of cinematography in this movie that is award-winning, but maybe not everything. So I kind of understand where you're coming from. Like, on the whole, there's a lot of really just static shots, like, not really a lot of interesting things going on. But there are scenes that are amazingly shot. And they all have to do with the monsters.
Absolutely. Because, like, I do agree with you that they're amazing. It's just that when I think of the Academy Awards as far as, like, cinematography or something, it's more of the indie, artfully shot, dealing with certain colors and stuff, and not so much specifically the content or the placing of content kind of thing. I feel like the Academy Awards doesn't look at that as much. I think it should, but I don't think it does.
Oh, okay. Then I think we definitely agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean,
amazing.
And that's why I'm saying, like, it deserves a nomination somewhere.
Yeah.
Because I think the cinematography is really good. Visually, it's a very good movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we definitely
so
agree.
Like
it's never going to get an Academy Award.
When we're talking about cinematography, it's not really like an indie, like those sun flare kind of shots kind of thing. The cinematography we're talking about is just placement of characters and events and stuff.
It's very well done.
You are constantly surprised throughout the movie in a really subtle and smooth way.
Yeah.
And it just goes down so good.
Yeah. So, on the whole, I think it definitely delivered. But I walked out of the movie theater the last half. I guess this is still part of my summary. Jeez. But I walked out of the theater after seeing the last half. And I was on the whole kind of disappointed with the way they did the human element. Bryan Cranston was very strong opening.
Yes.
It was an incredible opening. Ken Watanabe put into a one-liner position.
Yeah.
Where he just stares off into the sunset and says a one-liner and then
they
walks
just
off.
kind of didn't give him much to work with.
What the hell's going on with that? His assistant got way more lines than he did. Suddenly, he just has this pained look on his face and he's saying something about Godzilla.
Yeah.
What? He never shows his knowledge. He never does anything. Like, we don't know what kind of person he is. I don't know. It was really strange.
Yeah.
And I felt like they put him in there because they're like, well, we need a Japanese guy. Oh, it's fucking Ken Watanabe, sure.
Pretty much.
I have to believe that he was kind of disappointed in the script when he read it. Because he was like, oh. Because, seriously, I think personally, for the second half, it kind of fell flat on the human element. I didn't like the lieutenant. What ends up being the main character. I didn't like him very much.
What's his name? The actor of Kick-Ass?
I can't remember. I didn't like him.
Yeah.
And I didn't really like his wife, who was relegated in the latter half of the film to crying, pretty much exclusively. And trying to stay strong for her son.
I think...
Those two things.
I think the first couple times it was kind of like showing her fear kind of thing. It was like, oh, no, shaking up a bit.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Then the latter half of the movie, it's just like curled up while everything is being broken around her.
Which, I get it.
Uh-huh.
But we constantly, and this is my problem, the human element, I get that. But the human element got in the way of stuff. I do want to see Godzilla and Mothra, or the Mudas, fight.
Yeah.
I actually do want to see that.
Mm-hmm.
But they're constantly cutting away from that. And I think they have a point to that. Like, I think they're trying to do that. They're trying to make it so that the final fight is that much better, I guess, maybe? And I get that from a certain perspective, but we cut away from that to a scene of her running.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, it's a cutaway like, oh, look, there's humans.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you could have cut away and shown Bryan Cranston or the Admiral talking about something.
Uh-huh.
But instead, it's a cutaway from them fighting to her running for 10 seconds to them.
Yeah.
And I guess I never really understood that. And at the end of the movie, I was like, well, I don't care about them. Like, I really don't. I cared about Bryan Cranston because we got his character.
And it was such a waste.
In 10 minutes.
Was such a waste.
In 10 minutes, you're like, fucking, this is a really good character.
Yeah.
He did a really good performance.
Mm-hmm.
The best scene is him in the broom closet talking to the guy.
Yeah.
About, he has a right to know what happened. You're hiding something.
That was
great.
That was the best human part of the movie.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I'm in. Next thing you know, spoilers, by the way.
Yeah.
Major spoilers. He's fucking dead.
It couldn't have been more than 30 minutes.
It literally could not have been more than 30 minutes.
You advertised this guy all over the place. Why did you do this to me?
I was like, what just happened? And I was like...
And that's the problem. He set the bar way, way too high.
That must be it. Because, honestly, he set the bar really high because you're invested in his character. You know about his wife. He had to lock her out and then say goodbye to her on this glass screen.
Oh my gosh.
And then you find out that there was no radiation at all, that it wasn't a big deal, that she was probably alive but starved to death. And it's like, oh my god, you empathize with that character.
Yeah.
And I really liked his performance. And then, he dies because he fell off a bridge or something?
No, some rubble fell on him. Yeah.
I felt like it was a wasted opportunity to not do it the other way around. We already know about him. We already know about the father, Bryan Cranston's character. We empathize with him. The son is basically, we know he has a family and a crazy dad.
Yeah.
Quotations around crazy, right?
Which
I didn't like that they also made Bryan Cranston into the crazy goofball that nobody believes. I thought that was kind of weird. I mean, it didn't last very long.
It was annoying at first, but before you know it, he's the one who's right.
Yeah, that's
and he's
true.
telling everyone off about it.
It wasn't very long that you had to kind of deal with the fact that it's like, oh,
yeah,
everybody thinks he's crazy.
Yeah.
It wasn't very long.
No.
But I felt like they spent so much time developing Cranston's character, and then they're like, oh, he's dead. Just kidding, the son is the main character. When really, wouldn't it have been better if we had already been learning about this character if the son died? Then Cranston has to think about...
Then Cranston's character would just...
He would crumble.
Lose it even farther.
And he would be he's like, I want to kill.
He would be hell-bent on destroying
Then you have a dynamic, and here's the other thing, too. This is all about potential. I admit I do this a lot. I talk about what could have been.
Hey.
I'm not a scriptwriter, but...
We're here to discuss it.
Yeah, that's true. But then you have a dynamic of Cranston versus Watanabe. Watanabe wants to save Godzilla. Cranston just wants to fucking kill it. Right?
I didn't
Makes
even
sense.
think about that.
Then Cranston has to go home and tell his son's family that he's gone, and they have to deal with what his son dealt with for so many years.
Yeah.
There's so much potential there for even more interesting character.
Absolutely.
But instead, he dies on the aircraft carrier, and that's it. We're launched, and we have no time. The son is suddenly shoved into the room, asked about all these different questions, and then let go.
Yeah.
And then the son's out there.
And then the son's basically on a roller coaster ride
and then the son is the human element in a Godzilla movie, which was so predictable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, he's always next to the monster. Oh, his wife is always next to the monster.
Yeah.
Like, it's heading to San Francisco or San Diego. I don't know where it's actually heading, but like they're all going to converge here. Oh, that's where she lives.
Right.
It's like then they're relegated to the human element.
Yeah.
When it felt like if Bryan Cranston was a part of that, and they gave Ken Watanabe more to talk about, then we would have had, like... That would have been interesting. Like, you would have been in. But instead I was kind of like, alright, I guess I can watch monsters fight.
Now, Andrew, there's a couple things I want you to consider.
Okay.
That I'm going to talk about. First off, just the history of Godzilla. Have you watched a lot of Godzilla movies?
I've watched a decent amount. I mean, I saw the fucking Matthew Broderick one, which was terrible.
Well, that, but like all the older,
older
ones.
I've seen a lot of it.
Versing of a lot of the monsters kind of thing and stuff. Okay, one thing you got to consider is like we're looking at all of these human things that could have been better, but you look back at the human parts in the older movies.
I mean,
if you look at the step, both monster and human, they're miles ahead of anything in the past, especially the human parts. First off, the human parts were boring as hell.
Yeah.
And, like, just plain terrible.
I mean, okay, you definitely have a point.
For this one, it was like, oh, they could have done this better or that better. In the old one, it's like, when the heck is Godzilla coming on the screen?
Okay,
My gosh.
See, but... And maybe it wasn't as fast as it happens in the old Godzilla. I was still there during this Godzilla movie, but it wasn't that long, admittedly. But it was the moment. It's the moment when she is getting shoved in the subway tunnel and the doors are closing.
Oh, okay.
Remember? And then it's two of them fighting, but it's just doors close, and you don't get to see it. And instead, it's focusing on her.
Now, there's another point where I'd understand if people didn't agree, but I kind of liked the fact that they didn't always show the monsters fighting, for the fact that it didn't let us take the monsters for granted, kind of thing. Where in the older movies there were the really boring human parts, but once the monsters started going, it was like a 10-15 minute brawl of them kind of thing, you know? Yeah. Which brings me to another point where Godzilla is one of the few movies where I could just ignore the people. Because, like, a huge thing about Godzilla is just, like, really, when it comes right down to it, it's about a force of nature.
Yeah.
And that doesn't need dialogue or speaking or anything, in my opinion. And the most important thing that the humans brought, which I was completely satisfied with, and they brought perfectly, is just their perspective, which is something that a bunch of pretty much all the Godzilla movies in the past didn't use correctly, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're always like, oh, look, we're ants. But that's it.
Yeah, exactly. And then, like, most of the time it's fighting another monster, it just does a huge zoom out thing. Most of the time you're on eye level with Godzilla, and this movie really brought back the magnitude of how titanic this monster is, with countless different cinematography shots, like we talked about. Like, one of the most like intense parts was like the first time we see Godzilla. Hawaii's getting flooded, everyone's going nuts, no one knows what's going on, and then they shoot the flares.
Yeah.
And then it just bumps off the rough skin of this leg. They were on top of a skyscraper shooting flares. And it's like, oh my gosh, Godzilla is actually gigantic.
And that's why I keep going back to like visual aspects of the movie.
Right.
And so I totally get what you're saying in that. And then it's like the human element, and one of my favorite human scenes in the latter half of the movie was when he destroys the eggs.
Yeah.
And it's great because he's like, I really don't want to leave that. So then he's like, what can I do? What can I do? Gas tank. So he blows it up and he knows there's stuff burning everywhere.
Yeah.
And he hopes that it's going to explode. And it does, and he gets out just in time. Classic cliche, right? But it's fine. Like, and it blows up, and he did it. And the human did it. And I liked that.
Yeah.
You know,
that was like,
sacrificed
that
a
was
little
the
bit of himself.
one pivoting role of the human.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I really liked that. I liked that aspect of it. For me, though, it just, I get what you're saying. It's all about perspective. And you get to hear a lot of, like, military perspective and, like, civilian perspective and all these different things. You don't really get to hear a lot of the scientist perspective because all Ken Watanabe does is say, Godzilla must kill, and like, goes back to doing what he's doing, but, you know.
They did explain
they do.
where he came from. Yeah.
But, I mean, it's, You know. But, I think we're both in agreement on his role, unfortunate.
Yeah.
But, so for me, I definitely get what you're saying. I just it didn't pull me in as much. I liked scenes like that, where he destroys the mother's eggs.
You know why I liked that scene?
Why?
Another brilliantly surprising shot was when the first time he does the fire breath.
Yeah.
It's so amazing, because it's right after the eggs, and it looks like the mother is going to eat the soldier, and turns around and you just see this faint blue glowing thing, and I'm just like, yes, 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 yes.
So, true story, we're sitting in the movie theater, and Paul immediately, as soon as he sees the blue light, is like, holy crap, is it gonna happen? And I have no idea what's happening. For like a good 10 seconds, I'm like, what are you talking about, Paul? It's just a blue light. Oh. The atomic breath. I forgot about that. The atomic
breath. Yeah.
So, that was awesome.
It was brilliant shot.
Another brilliant shot.
Surprise.
Yeah, totally. And that's why I totally agree with you. I really like that scene.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, like, that scene, really good.
Yeah.
You know, he's using his power as a human, and he's like, fucking suck it.
Yeah.
You know, like, just take it.
Right.
And then, you know, Godzilla does have to save him, but it's like he was going to make a sacrifice. Human scenes I don't like is the whole train sequence.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like they're just on a train. And, okay, we've talked about this before, but in inconsistency or whatever I thought it was aside, I just didn't like that scene because it's like, what is happening?
Right.
And then you get kind of a cool scene where they're on the bridge and they're trying not to disturb the Muda. Right? And that was kind of cool, like, cool shots, once again.
The Mudo redeemed that scene because, first off, there's that surprise shot where you don't even know it's there.
Exactly.
And then it just emerges from the mountain. And then another brilliantly surprising shot where they're just laying on the train.
And it's going by.
And its egg sack.
Yeah.
Like, looms over them, and that's the first time anyone sees it.
It's pretty cool. It's really cool.
And the soldier's just like, oh, shit.
Yeah. So, like, once again, like, cool shots.
Yeah.
The whole train sequence, like, what are we doing? Why is he here? Oh, he's an EOD. Okay, so suddenly he's pivotal to the story. Okay, we're all talking like humans. Oh, now they've stopped the train, and going on foot. What?
Well,
whose plan was this?
Because they heard. Well, something was going on the walkie-talkie kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I get that. But you are talking about giant fucking monsters, and you want to go ahead with a squad of 4 to check it out, and you don't think anything's gonna happen?
Well, maybe they did, and it's like they don't want to waste all the soldiers.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, really, it's like
no,
the train.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like the train sequence is parts like that where I'm like, okay, I guess, but that was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
But why? Like, why did this whole thing happen? And what we talked about this right after the movie. I get really like, and I fully admit this is a personal thing, but I get very like, why are these characters doing this in these kind of movies? Because once again, I think Bryan Cranston set the bar high.
Yep.
And really, the first 30 minutes as a whole kind of did.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm expecting this serious movie, lots of stuff going on, and then suddenly they're on a train, and they know where the Mutos are going to be, but they put them on a train, these giant nuclear bombs, and they're transporting them. And then later a helicopter comes and picks them up and takes them where they need to be anyway. And I was like, and like you said, maybe it was because of the EMP.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's true, except they said they were tracking them, so I don't know how much that really matters. I don't know, and it was so confusing because, I mean, even with the EMP, they came with a helicopter anyway and picked them up and took them somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just, for me, I was like, why do we need that whole sequence? The redeeming part is, like you said, we get to see her eggs.
Which was kind of important.
Which was important. Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely important. But, like, you know, it's like a 10, 15-minute scene, and I'm like, this could have been somewhere else. Like, it just, I don't know, it was weird to me that it was like, and that's why I felt like a lot of the human elements were like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, scenes where I'm like, I guess?
Yeah.
But, like, what? So I felt, on a whole, if they cut a little bit of that out and didn't change anything else, I think I would have liked the movie a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Because it would have been a little bit shorter, and I think it just would have, for me, it would have fit a little bit more.
Yeah.
But the final battle redeemed that, in my opinion.
Oh my goodness.
The whole final part of it definitely was amazing. I mean,
I'd say from starting with the plane diving scene.
I would 100% agree.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, because that's another thing too. They're like, they have this grand plan for the nuclear bomb, and that whole thing also felt very convoluted to me. Where I'm like, what if the Mutos get to it before it floats out to sea?
Yeah.
What if they have all this stuff? Like, that doesn't all make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, it gets to the plane diving scene where they're like, okay, we're gonna drop in and get the nuclear bomb, and I was like, okay, I mean, this got really convoluted, but whatever. The minute they drop out of that plane, I'm like, I'm in. Because
from that point, it's like visuals take it from there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the scene with the mother's eggs and the whole thing. But it's incredible.
I want to talk about that particular scene really quick because I think it's absolutely amazing. First off, of course, the part where they're diving between clouds. And you get that grand scene, one of the hands down the most beautiful shot in the movie.
The smoke coming from the ankles is like incredible. You see these red streaks through the sky, kind of as like the sun is setting.
Right.
So you see that, and they're coming through the clouds.
But what makes
incredible.
It even more brilliant, in my opinion, is that shot was in the first Godzilla trailer.
Yeah.
Every person going into this has seen that part 100 freaking times.
Yeah, probably.
And it still managed to shake my heart when it came. And I think that's a huge balance very few people are able to strike. Because, like, either they just have a grand scene like that in a trailer and it's not even in the movie, which is really disappointing. Yeah. Or it's played so many times that you're just sick of it. When you see it in the movie, you're just like, okay, that's over, next scene kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, I don't know, it just struck this amazing balance of like a short term nostalgia, if you will.
Yeah.
Where like it had all the elements of it, but just made it a little more grander. The acapella voices were a little more dramatic.
That's what I was gonna
and
say
the
too.
scene was just a tad more intense kind of thing.
There's
and
some
it's like,
there's some really dramatic music going on in that scene, which I think and if the visuals weren't as good, it would be seen as a little campy.
Yeah.
Like there's these voices like oh in the background,
Right.
but they start out really quiet.
Yeah.
And all you really see is just these people falling in the voices. And then as it goes back to their view, like him watching things, there is no sound except for wind.
Right.
So as he's coming down and you see Godzilla fighting, he knocks over a building, you don't hear that.
Yeah.
You hear wind.
Right.
And the voices.
Yeah.
Like the music building the whole time. I was like, that's amazing.
Intention.
Yeah.
I would say one of my favorite art pieces. I've already talked about the merging of like opposites, like in the past, but I guess this is along those same lines. One of my favorite things in movies is where a really chaotic scene goes silent.
Yeah.
When like chaos is ensuing,
Mm-hmm.
but there's silence in the audio. I love that artful tool in film. One of my favorites, and it's kind of along the same lines as like
it's a really good point.
Opposites kind of thing.
So that scene is very, very good.
Yeah.
And then they land in the city, and from there it's basically you're heading towards the ending headlong, and it's a ride. They're trying to get the nuclear bomb out, and while these things are fighting all around them, and you're finally getting to see them. You're finally getting to see more of the monsters until you see them full, and then he's fighting them, and the atomic breath.
Even then, though, there's very few of those older shots in Godzilla where it's like you can see the whole monster's body kind of thing. Like you know what I was saying before, the eye view, kind of thing. It's still really like up close, intense, gritty, looking up sometimes at these monsters, kind of thing.
And that's
which I really appreciated.
And that's why I like the whole storyline of the soldiers going in to get the bomb. Mm-hmm. Because even though it's convoluted, and if you think about it, it's kind of like, why even bother at this point? Because it hasn't worked 10 times before. Yeah. But I like that because, like you say, you get those shots.
Right.
Of these monsters from, like, a ground-up view, and you realize how big they are.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Right.
So, yeah. Ending, very, very awesome. Just awesome.
Definitely.
On the whole, a good movie. Just wish Bryan Cranston was in it more, honestly.
Yeah. I mean,
I didn't like his son. I didn't like his son's wife. Yeah. Lieutenant Bland was kind of like not going a lot of
Bryan Cranston and the Monsters.
Yeah.
That's this movie.
Seriously. Because the first 30 minutes are very good, and they do a job of setting it up, and then it just kind of... I felt like the middle was the weak part for me. But yeah, it's a good movie to go see in theaters, too. That's the other thing.
Definitely.
This is a movie that you want to see in theaters, because it's like... Because the shots are really good, first of all. And also, it's a monster movie.
Exactly.
Like, it was like Pacific Rim. I'm probably not going to buy Pacific Rim on DVD. Right? But I might. We'll see how cheap
I think I'll buy this movie.
Godzilla?
Yeah.
I might. And that's what I'm saying is, like, Pacific Rim was good. Mm-hmm. And it was a fun, enjoyable ride. And it was over the top and ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I really think, like, Godzilla is, like, a movie kind of like that. Like, you need to see it in theaters.
True.
To kind of appreciate it a lot. I mean, I would buy it on DVD. But it's one of those that's like, it's like for movie nights.
I'm just a die-hard Godzilla fan.
Yeah, well, that's definitely true.
Yeah. I've been watching those movies since I was 4, like, constantly. And, another thing, going back to the thing where not taking the monsters for granted. with a lot of shots. His roar.
Yeah.
It only happened 3 times, but when it happened, holy crap! It was the most incredible thing. Oh my gosh! It just shook all of my senses because it was hardcore nostalgia blasted in your face.
And that's really what. Once again, that's another reason to see it in theaters is the sound.
Oh yeah,
the sound on stuff like that is really really good.
Yeah.
So totally go see it in theaters. I mean, I don't even know if this is an IMAX or not. But that would be pretty awesome if it was. But yeah, totally worth it. Really awesome. Yeah, I'm excited for Godzilla 2. I'm excited for.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, monster movies are coming back, and hell, with Pacific Rim, if we get a second one, which it sounds like we might actually, which I'm kind of surprised at, then. Maybe we get more mecha movies?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. What was that one movie we saw a trailer of? I can't remember the name of it.
I don't know.
With Mila Kunis.
Oh, Jupiter Ascending.
I feel like I saw a mecha in there, but I feel like I saw every blockbuster thing ever in there.
You saw the Wachowskis in that. Basically, you saw. Well, we've done Matrix, we did Cloud Atlas, we did Speed Racer. What's the most ridiculous fucking thing we can do? This movie.
I don't even know, man.
I don't even know either. That's for a whole other separate topic. I'm gonna go see that movie. We should do a topic on that.
Oh yeah, when that comes out, it's like, so we saw this.
Yeah. What the hell just happened?
Do you want to talk a little about Godzilla 2?
Yeah, for sure. It was announced almost immediately, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it made a lot of money when it first came out.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, it's gonna be a trilogy.
Probably. And Bryan Cranston's already dead. God damn it! Now we have to deal with more Ken Watanabe, like handing people his pocket watch and like
Godzilla.
Yeah, that's what we have to contend with now. I don't know, whatever. I mean, I'm definitely gonna go see it.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they've kind of proven in this one that you can still make a good monster movie.
Yeah.
That's fun to see, has a lot of worth in it, and if they keep the same director or whoever's doing those shots,
oh my gosh,
yeah, I'm totally in.
Though I would say definitely they can't duplicate this process because I feel like we'll be a little more desensitized to it.
Okay. Like the shots,
the serious tone, as well as kind of the surprise shots too. Because now we're kind of expecting.
That's
surprises.
That's true,
You know?
And you also kind of have to. You got to get rid of the military at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't be consistently focusing on a couple aspects. Like you kind of got to change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do with this.
And I mean, another reason I say that is like at this point, I feel like they will be focusing more and more on the monsters, not at like that sensitive level, but more of like getting more cameos in there.
Okay.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
I hope they don't go that fully route where when suddenly there's like 10 monsters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't want.
I heard a rumor about that, but it might just be some guy being like, "Brr."
Yeah, I hope it is because I really liked that it was just like Godzilla and these two. And they're like parasites. They live here. Like they feed off people. Like that's gonna be good.
Yeah,
I think.
I mean, there were some Easter eggs in this movie. The only one I caught was the Mothra tank. Do you remember when they were going in the? I pointed it out to you. When they were going in the home.
Yes.
And they had the tank with the cocoon,
yes.
and it had Mothra scribbled on a piece of paper in front of it.
Yep.
Apparently, there was a picture of the butterfly that Mothra is somewhere.
Oh.
And also, there is a hinting towards another monster called Manda. Do you know that one?
No, I don't actually.
He's basically a traditional Chinese green dragon.
Oh, okay.
Wow. And so, there was a bus that said Manda on it with the dragon on it.
Mm-hmm.
And also, do you remember the part where I think it was when they were burning the eggs and the bottom part was flooding and it showed that dragon head.
Yes.
So that totally looks like Manda.
Huh. Okay then.
So I'm kind of surprised with Manda because he's really not one of the common ones.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Mothra doesn't
Mothra's
surprise me at all.
common. Yeah.
But I'm kind of on the fence of Mothra being in the second one for a couple reasons. It's just Muto, they're definitely their own entity, but they're very similar to Mothra.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And also, Mothra is like always a protagonist, not an antagonist kind of thing. So, like, I don't know how I feel about like a tag team with Godzilla and Mothra in this new series, you know? You know what I mean?
I don't know. Yeah.
I think Manda will be really cool, though.
Yeah, if they do that, that would be kind of cool.
Because he's one of the less over-the-top ones.
They have to keep it fresh. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
They can't fall into a groove.
No.
Because, like you said, we're going to be expecting it. So.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm really excited. I will definitely be seeing Godzilla 2 at theaters.
Me too.
So, I'm down. All right.
You know what I hope they do
with
this? They make another name for it, kind of like the Dark Knight series.
Godzilla Returns.
Like,
let's not do
like
that.
They just name it like King of Monsters or something cool like that.
Okay, actually that would that'd be kind of cool.
But no, I think this is the Dark Knight for the Godzilla series. I really do. I'm so optimistic of where this will go. It's incredible.
I'm excited. We'll see. Yeah, I guess we'll just see where it goes. But I'll be seeing it. I'll be seeing it in theaters.
Me too. Let's see it together.
It'll be awesome. I'm down.
We'll freak out like we did in this one.
Try to go to like a big one like IMAX. Yeah. That would be awesome.
Seriously.
I want to see if they have it in IMAX.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so you need to respond to our comments about Godzilla. Tell us what you think about the whole human element thing, Ken Watanabe, Bryan Cranston. Tell us what you thought about everybody.
What monsters do you want for the second one?
Yeah, what monsters do you want to see? Did you like
the Mutos?
Yeah, like those were pretty cool.
Yeah.
But they're definitely not a Godzilla monster, like an older one.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, tell us what you think. Shout us out. It's Facebook.com/the Podcast. I will get this eventually. I swear to God. Twitter at Fanvoice Podcast. Go ahead.
YouTube/the Fanvoice Podcast.
I'm so bad at this.
We're almost there, man.
Oh my God.
For lengthy messages about your opinion on something, or you want to send us some feedback about what we should review or discuss or whatever, you can do our email, fan@thefanvoice.com.
Yes. And then our website, thefanvoice.com.
Which you should totally check out because we just revamped it and it looks awesome.
We just put in some new stuff, a new look to it.
Yeah.
So go check that out. We're going to be posting. We post almost every day, so definitely check us out over there. We have news and everything going on.
Special news, special thoughts, special reviews on
exactly.
things
So,
in between our podcast discussions. So
it's a good place to get caught up in everything. So
check it out.
All right. Well, give us a shout if you guys have an opinion on Godzilla. If you liked it, didn't like it, whatever. What you think about Godzilla 2. What you think about Batman v Superman. Also, you can totally shout me out on that one because I'm willing to discuss how bad it's going to be. I think personally.
Hey.
No, I
Come
mean
on.
how absolutely amazing. Whatever. It's
have a little hope, Andrew.
I'm trying. I'm so trying. All right. Anyway, we will see you guys next week for
Thanks
episode
so
10.
much for joining us once again.
All right. See you guys later.
See ya.